Okay, welcome. I'm Andy Lee Graham, and I've been to 114 countries. And I've lived in doing this for 25 years. I don't really have a home inside the United States. I just go visit there once in a while. Okay, I'm going to talk about going to the 10, what could be considered the most dangerous countries on the planet, or maybe in a lot of ways, the 10 countries that tourists are off the tourist grid. Nobody really wants to go there. And after going to 100 plus countries and doing this in the course of 25 years, I don't have a home in the United States. I only go home to visit the United States. But what I want to ask you first is ask yourself, do you feel alive? I mean, do you feel alive? Drink a little coffee while you think about it. I drink out of glass bottles. I don't use any plastic hardly anymore. But do you feel alive? Some will say yes, some feel no. But do you really feel like you're engaged in life? I have a 14th step that I says don't say or do anything that would make you or another person feel weak. And why I say this is because I've been trying to curb my desire to just say anything and everything, because I think we should always inspire people to become a better person. We should aspire to inspire. Okay, but for me, I'm in kind of after 26 years of living abroad, doing anything and everything I want to do. I'm in a lot of ways, I'm sort of bored. Okay, travel is not quite as interesting as it used to be. Okay, but when I think of I watched a movie called Rush, a 2013 movie with, it's about two race car drivers and Formula One, I guess you'd say. But when I need a rush, I think I have this word rush I've been thinking about for years. But when I think of rush, I think no risk, no rush. And I really heard that a man say this because as a recovering alcoholic, has been sober for 37 years. Sometimes you just say, I don't have any rush in my life. You know, the alcohol was a rush, okay? But how do I get a rush normally? My biggest rush normally in my addiction to travel is when I enter a new city, I get a rush, okay? It's like solving everything, everything's unanticipated, whatever. But it's really now, I'm in a point right now where even going to new countries, new cities is just sort of common. It's just my normal way of life. I was laughing, and I was watching this Apocalypse Now clip where the man is in the hotel and he's waiting for a mission. Apocalypse Now. He says, Saigon, I am only in Saigon. He's not on a mission. Well, he says when he's on a mission, he's thinking about home, and when he's home, he's thinking about a mission. But I need a mission. I need something to live for. I need to be thriving. I need to be alive. Okay. But I put the clip I'm going to have this Google Docs inside the description of these videos. And I know it's really hard to get to those on the smartphone. They've done everything they can to make all the available information other than just jumping to the next video very difficult to do. But I got the clip in the Google Docs. Okay, Top Gun. And when I first got sober 37 years ago, I would play the song from Top Gun 1. And it's a song called The Danger Zone. And it's got a line in there, Highway to the Danger Zone. And I was really worried. Why was I worried? I was traumatized. I was angry. I was upset. I wanted to know if I could engage in life again. And I even wore a pennant for years until I still have the pennant. And it says on one side, it says balance, to keep my life in balance. But on the other side, it says engage. Because in Maverick's movie, in the movie he says, engage Maverick. He lost his juju, right? And he had to get back into the game. And I was really worried as a person that just got, put on house arrest for 10 months, a year, and I lost my driver's license for 10 years. I got it back after about 5 or 6. But could I actually go beyond that trauma, okay? But I would watch a song by Kenny Loggins, in the danger zone, because it gives you energy. But I will start going to these 10 dangerous countries, and I'm going to tell you the dangerous countries, and of course it's debatable, right? But why am I doing this? I'm really, what the big problem is, I'm really tired of wimps. I watch the news, I watch this stuff, I see these people that are just not, all they talk about is the problems of life, and they're not even doing anything, but just watching the videos. They're Gen Z or whatever you call it. All they do is the smartphone is defining their life. They don't have a life except what the smartphone tells them to do. But they're these comfort crazies, okay? Telling me the days they did something with no. There's people comfort crazies that are constantly telling me, like I'm older, right? So people are telling, some of my friends are older, and all they talk about is something they did when they were 25, and I go, your life's not over, okay? All you can think about is comfort. You're comfort crazy. They tell me they have no future story, therefore I know they're half dead. Because they have no future story, I just think of them as half dead. But the 14th step says, don't say or do anything that would make myself or others feel weak. And I don't really want to jump these guys, but sometimes I want to, right? I go, hey, you're not dead yet. You're still alive. I am alive. And I'm alive mostly when I'm living in what I call serendipitous good fortune. Good fortune is when just great things happen. Like I got on a bus and I ended up in a village in Colombia, and I just love this village, and I'll come back to it over and over again. I'm not going to tell anybody on my channels anymore where I'm at most of the time, or specifically where I'm at, because I realized that a lot of the people that watch my videos and dream about going things are not the people that I really want to go engage and share their culture with these other countries. When we go to another country, we are like an ambassador. We are an example to the thing. I watch all these philosophy shows, and these guys are not people I want to be like. I'm a philosopher. I'm a guy that really believes in wisdom and the truth. And I want to share my health, my spirit, my mentality, even my physical shape, even the way I look, everything. I want to be the best possible example, because what I think a philosopher should do is energize you. They should give you the hope of the future. They shouldn't be talking about this dystopian future. I mean, Friedrich Nietzsche, ended up in an insane asylum. This is not the goal, okay? This is funny. Some of these stoic people are so miserable. They just act like your father. And truly, what a lot of people, when they study philosophy, they are trying to obey their father. They never in their life obeyed their father or their mother, and they're going to watch a bunch of philosophy videos so that somehow they obey their father. But I want a life, when I think of travel, I think of a no reservation life. I'm not kidding, reservations. I hate reservations. It just makes my life boring. I like it when I don't have enough money. I like to be on the minimum cusp, the absolute edge of what I can afford to do, okay? When I'm talking about going to Israel right now, I know that it's a dangerous thing to go that way. You gotta be a little more funded. I mean, not that I was going to ever spend as much money as I get, but I'm asking for $4,000. But I was thinking about all these countries, and I can go to about any country on the planet for a month or two for $5,000, except maybe United States and France, right? It's really hard to go to these countries. I can go to France pretty cheap, but I mean, United States is getting to be ridiculous. But I like to have no knowledge life. I no knowledge of the place I'm going. When people try to get me to study countries I'm going to, I refuse. Why? It takes away the risk. It takes away the rush. It takes away the vulnerable feeling that I have that I'm not in control. Okay, I don't want to be in control of anything. I want to be a call audible quarterback at the line of scrimmage. A call audible is when you get at the line of scrimmage and you see that the defense, you're sitting there and you realize that the defense they know the play, they know what's coming, they know you're going to do it quick, so you do a change about and you do a new play at the line of scrimmage so that you can counteract what the defense is doing. But my life is a call audible. It's always a call audible. I don't want confirmation bias. I don't want to know what people think of another country. I want to experience it alive. I want to experience it fresh. But I find I'm bored. World travel is just too easy. Okay. I'm going to write a book, and it's going to be about the philosophy of different subjects, like philosophy of rush, what a rush is, philosophy of talking, philosophy of experiences, philosophy of things. And I've decided I was going to write a long book about a many volume book about how to live abroad. And I realized I don't want to destroy the planet, okay? I want people to be good people. And most of the people that go abroad are the wanted, the unwanted, and the hermits. They're unwanted in the United States. They're the wanted by the law in the United States. And they're hermits that try to run away from the United States because they hate everybody, right? That's a hermit. They go to countries like Arabic countries, or they go to Chinese countries where nobody can talk to them. But number one, I like to enter a city without ever getting a reservation. I'm going to do this in about next Monday, I think. I'm on April 22nd. I go to Medellin, and I'm not going to get a reservation because I don't like to be told. It's not being told. I like the opportunity to make a better choice. A reservation is a guarantee that I have no choice in what I'm doing. I have to, in a way, accept it or lose money. And I can't really afford to lose money. But I actually get a better room because I can go to 4 or 5 different hotels and I choose which one is the best location. I choose the best room, and I look at 4 or 5 hotels, then I choose a room. Okay, but I first choose the people that are running the hotel. And if you get a great management, it's almost, you can really, almost everything else is okay. But I watched this movie, Rush 2013, Ron Howard movie. I think there's a guy that was in Andy and Mayberry, right? Biographical sports drama film directed by Ron Howard. Niki Lauda and James Hunt. These two figures were, I guess, what they call Formula One. I'm not really big on racing. I don't really know, but I think it's Formula One cars. They were going about 170 to 220 miles an hour, I think. Okay, but James Hunt was the guy played by Thor, okay? You know that guy that played Thor, his blonde-haired guy. And Niki Lauda was another person. But some of the quotes from the movie were really good. And I'm going to tell you the 10 countries. Don't worry, I'm getting into it. But why would you go to these countries? That is why you want to be alive. Why would you go to dangerous countries? Why would I go to Israel right now? I need the rush. I need it. It's an addiction. Okay, here's some quotes. A wise man can learn more from his enemies than a fool from his friends. Niki Lauda said it. The closer you are to death, the more alive you feel. And right there's James Hunt said this, the driver. The closer you are to death, the more alive you feel. And a lot of you guys don't know you're even dead yet. You're walking around with no hope for the future. Number 3, happiness is the enemy. It weakens you, puts you in doubt, puts doubt in your mind. Doubt in your mind. Suddenly, you might have something to lose. Niki Lauda. Number 4, it's not a sin to be afraid. It's only a sin if you don't have the courage to overcome it. Why don't people go to all these places? They can't overcome their fear. Why did I, 37 years ago, watch Top Gun, maverick. I knew I needed to re-engage, and I needed to. Right now, I am so tired of men in the United States. I talk to mostly men. I talk to a few women, but mostly any woman, man or woman that's been divorced, they are so traumatized that they talk about women as if it's something they're never going to do again in their life. Okay, it's kind of sad here. I just realized this clothing above me. I got a clothesline above me, and it's making lighting funny. It's not in the picture, but it's adding some shade here. It's kind of funny stuff. Trying to organize these videos as you go to 114 countries is a challenge. Okay, it's not a sin to be afraid. It's only a sin if you don't have the courage to overcome it. When you guys get divorced and you don't want to get back with, like men going their own ways, this has got to be one of the absolute weirdest organizations I've ever heard. Men trying to talk to men, it's like in the Philippines, you get these guys that they only have a girl as an appendage, as like something they put on their table to cook for them and to have sex with them. They're not actually, they're more in love with men than they are with women. I always think about this when these guys are sitting around watching football together. Okay, number 5, the most powerful weapon on the earth is a human soul on fire. And I want to be on fire. I'm 65 plus, and I want to kindle the fire. There's a song by Garth Brooks or something, Into the Fire. You want to be energized. You don't want to be talking about stories when you were 16. I'm going to tell you a few of the crazy shit I did when I was 16. But no risk, no rush. Remember that. No risk, no rush. That is how to be alive. But I want emotional rush. I'm going to tell you some of my emotional rushes. Because I'm trying to lead up to why I need to go to 10 most dangerous countries. I might put these all on I might make a GoFundMe page for each of these pages, or just find somebody to sponsor me for each country, which would be better. And that would allow me to deal one-on-one with the person, or say a group of men or girls, whatever, women, whatever. And they could tell me, I always said it'd be really nice if a nursing home said, Andy, we want you to go to this place, and we want you to walk around and make all these videos for us. And they just do a bunch of research. They become alive vicariously through me, and I can go make videos just to make them happy. That's a really wonderful feeling. But emotional rush. I did a wheelie before I broke my femur on I broke my femur when I was about 23. I was in a cast almost a year. Before we were in the parking lot in the apartment complex, we were doing wheelies on my $500 500 Yamaha Enduro, and I was trying to shift it into 4th gear. Then I just driving down the road and somebody hits me right up. I mean, I was really, get an emotional rush. I think about this. I really love to do wheelies on motorcycles. I'd only buy an Enduro. I remember riding an elephant, chasing rhinos in the Chitwan forest of Nepal. I remember in Togo, girls following me around. The girls in Africa sometimes just walk and open the door and come in. It's absolutely an emotional rush. Okay, you're going, whoa, in what world does a gorgeous girl like that walk into my room? Okay, I remember entering Iraq from Silopi. I entered into Silopi and realized it wasn't very exciting. But when I got to Baghdad, I was really energized, right? I remember leaving Ivory Coast, correct name, Cote d'Ivoire, when it was breaking out in war. There was cars burning. There's guys walked up to our taxi. It was only like 5 o'clock in the morning because I was trying to get to the airport to fly out. And these guys had these big, sticks. It wasn't a stick. It was a big board. And they were holding them at the car, talking to the driver. Luckily, our driver rocked and rolled through it. Physical rushes. Physical is different than emotional. We should look, a philosopher, they almost never talk about emotions. Why? Because they're in their head. They're just living in their mind. They're not having a happy mind. They're having a a brain dead mind in a lot of ways. Physical rushes. When I was in high school, they had like 750-pound weight lift on the Nautilus thing, and I did the whole rack, right? Boom, boom, boom. When you're doing the whole rack and this thing's just kicking, I could do the whole rack without ever, I didn't build up to that. I could do it because I was a farm boy that just had legs, right? Physical rush, working 85 hours a day, 85 hours a week. I worked 85 hours a week for about 5 weeks in a row at least when I was working at metal spinners at night at a factory and then baling hay all day. I mean, you can barely move your legs after you do physical labor 85 hours. Definitely I was in one thing. When I was at the Bloomington, we were in the rec room or whatever, the recreation center or whatever you call this place. We had a name for that. I high jumped 6 foot, my height. Really one of my greatest feats ever. I was a pole vaulter high jumper. Nobody cares, right? Walked across, one time I got on the island of Koh Chang, which is there's 2 Koh Changs in Thailand, and the crazy boat driver dropped me off on the left side of the island, so I had to walk like 12 miles across the island in the rain to the other side of the island. I was like really upset. I was like, hey, this is the absolute, but that's the cruelty of Southeast Asia. But people often say, Andy, why don't you go trekking or hiking or something? I said, I have to walk with 60-pound backpack all the time. It's not really that ideal. Plus, I grew up in a place, I've been reading Henry David Thoreau, and he's got 3 or 4 chapters on the pond and stuff, and it's kind of amazing because, we had muskrat traps. I've laid on the ice and looked at the bubbles. I've seen the fish below the ice. I've been on the cracking ice. I've seen owls. I went raccoon hunting with these guys. I castrated pigs. We used to catch chickens. I had an exciting life. One of the biggest things that I didn't consider it a big deal at all. I rode my bike 50 miles in one day about 10 times. Okay, I don't really consider riding a bike 50 miles a very big deal. Okay, but a lot of people did. And I go, Andy, that's like going, have all the easy things to do. You just get on there, and after about 20 halfway distance there, you have no choice but to keep on. And once you get your legs pumped, it's really quite easy. Other than the horrible vibration that it does to the lower part of your body and your arms, your wrist. Okay, mental rushes. I get a mental rush by inventing things. I'm constantly inventing things. I have, even here, everywhere I'm at, I'm always doing something. I just invented a thing to hold another system to hold my computer above my head so I could lay in bed without a pillow. Working really good. I got a Velcro thing that's a little awkward, but there's always fun. It'd be fun to have somebody smart enough to talk to me about it. Writing philosophy books, writing the Global Citizen books, writing books, a mental challenge. Spiritual rush. What's a spiritual rush? A spiritual rush is about about all the things I just talked about. It brings you to a higher level. We were talking today about the transcendentalists. And to me, the transcendentalists, they transcended above the pettiness of the world and said that humans intrinsically know what is right and wrong. So when somebody does something wrong, you can't really let them off the hook. They know what is right and wrong. They just don't want to do it. Okay, and I would love your opinion. My email address is hoboontheroad@yahoo.com. My telephone number is 1-260-624-4414. I'd really like to make a GoFundMe page for 10 different countries or maybe 20. But I know that people get overwhelmed when they have too much We're in an age of overstimulation. Okay, I know that almost 90% of the people that started watching this video have already left because their attention span's only as long as a tweet, right? 1 minute. That is sad. What's interesting is I have these various channels, and I'm calling them short channels. and I'm putting short videos on them, less than 1 minute. And the one on travel tips is booming. I'm getting a lot of action. And I know, but I feel bad because what I'm doing is enabling and encouraging people to think in a 1 minute version. They got a TikTok brain, right? A YouTube short brain. That's not what I want you to do. I want you to be able to sit and give your attention. A person was really complaining about a plane trip to Singapore for 16 hours, and I thought, man, when I was a kid, I used to sit on the tractor all day for 12 hours. It's a problem with the brain when you are not happy being in your own brain, when you don't have a happy mind. I got a chapter on that in the book called The Philosophy of the Happy Mind. And I don't think hardly any of these philosophers ever had a happy mind, except for Henry David Thoreau. I would spend, in each of these 10 countries, I'd spend around 2 to 3 months, and I'd probably, in total, 3 months in that country, and I would probably do the adjoining countries at the same time, because not really much point in going to Yemen and not going to, on Tray or whatever, or the little countries, or Oman around there. There's countries around there. I remember this when I was traveling, I don't know, I was in Nepal, and this guy from I think it was Sykes or something, in the danger zone. And he was dressed up in military gear, and he was acting like, and I'd already been to like 7 of the places he called dangerous, and I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. Almost all the people that are making videos are over, I don't know, they catastrophize things. Michael Crichton, in his State of Fear or something, that one book he wrote, he talks about how everything's a catastrophe anymore. Everything's a fear. These countries are nice, right? The world is a good place. It's really the trolls and everybody wants to cancel somebody. They're evil. When you go to cancel somebody, that's a premeditated violence, okay? And mentally violence is much more cruel than actual physical violence, okay? But I don't want to be sponsored by anybody, because if I put it on National Geographic, or I got some newspaper to sponsor me or something, they're going to distort the truth. That's all they do. The internet is that's why to be supported on videos anymore, the only way you can do it with the Patreon or donations or things like this. They have different sections. I'm only using Patreon because I don't want to spend my whole time checking 16 different ways, and I want to be able to communicate with everybody this thing. And if I had it on YouTube and to join, and I realized I had 2 lists, right? I don't only want one list of people that I can deal with, and I can try to care about those people. It's really hard to stay organized enough sometimes. National Geographic videos are not real, okay? They distort everything. Very few documentaries about the world are even slightly real. It's amazing. I mean, they will take reality and distort it so that they can have this documentation, which a documentary is supposed to be a documentation of what they're seeing, and like a factual interpretation, and it's not even close. I go to these places and I'm really upset when I go there. Okay, these are the 10 countries. Afghanistan, most people know where that is, okay? The DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. That probably is the country that I would be the most nervous about, because there's a big long river going through it, very big country. And I was going to go through it one time with actually was this girl. I was in Nairobi, Kenya, and we were going to go across all the way to, I don't know, Gabon or something, or I'm not sure which country it'd end up, Angola. But and she said it might be a trauma, and I go, what is wrong with you, woman? This woman was living with different men all around the planet. She was kind of whoring her way around the world. Really funny. DRC Congo. That's probably a country that makes me nervous. Iraq, I've already been there, but I would like to go back again. Libya. Now that would be a fun country. I would really like to go to Libya. It's a North African bordered by Tunisia, Algeria, Niger, Chad, Sudan, and the Mediterranean Sea. And in the thing, it tells the location of these. Nigeria. Okay, actually, Nigeria would be a really good country right now. I've been trying to get to Cameroon and all the corner of Africa right there, and it would be really good to go to Nigeria. But I have to get the visa. In fact, I applied for a visa to Nigeria, and they turned me down. I was in like Cotonou, Benin, and they said no. And I go, gee whiz. I mean, but there's kidnappings in the north part of the thing, and there's an Islamic force there that's, kidnapped like, I don't know how many children, really, and young people. Nigeria, Somalia. Now, that country I don't know much about except for Black Hawk Down, and it's probably permanently traumatized the country, right? Somalia is just next to Kenya, and it'd be really nice to go to like Kenya, then go over to Yemen and be able to plan these trips, and then go to the surrounding countries to kind of decompress, okay? South Sudan, same kind of area as near south of Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, right next to the Democratic Republic of Congo. Syria, I actually got a visa to Syria when I went to Iraq, 2003. I had the visa, I just decided I was gonna go down into Iraq and then make a right turn and go over to Syria, but I just decided that I know what the problem was. This French girl that I met in Turkey kept calling me when I was in Iraq, and I was kind of interested in getting back to her and going to Paris, France, and staying with her. So I let a girl lead me astray. But I lost the visa. But Syria, Ukraine. I've already been there like 3 times, but I'd love to go there right now. Actually, I haven't got on this list, but I think I'd rather go to Russia. I really would enjoy going to Russia. And all these countries are in the game. Yemen, I don't know. I mean, I don't really like these kind of hardcore Islamic countries. They're really kind of boring. And all they want to do is smoke cigarettes, talk about football, and it's a bunch of men talking to men. It's really something. Niger, Niamey, Niger. I never forget there. I was like going, guys, all you talk about is British sports, right? They know all the leagues, right? In this thing, I have all these countries in this Google Docs. I have the countries, the location, and it says basically a list of the different types of conflicts in each one of these kings. Like I'll say, let me read off the, hey, this thing's stalling. The Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, persistent armed conflicts. Exploitation of natural resources, weak governing, corruption, and lack of state president, humanitarian crisis. If you read the consulate sheets on almost every country, almost every single country is having a thing. I'm a little irritated right now at Seth Godin. He's doing this thing to make NGOs and aid organizations and charities to get money easier. And he doesn't really realize that the biggest business on the planet right now, which is government. Okay, you got non-governmental organizations, NGOs, you got missionaries, and then you got government aid like USAID or GIZ at Germany, and you got all these organizations. You got them, but really, the government normally gives the money to 501(c)(3)s or whatever these crazy things are, and they disseminate the money. Okay, it's the biggest business on the planet. If you just take like the government giving $100 billion to Ukraine, how much money are we giving Israel? The amount of money that the people are giving by indirectly or directly is unbelievable. This has got to be this is the biggest business, I think, on the planet. It's going the wrong way. Once it leaves the United States, they just do anything and everything they want to. I truly believe Zelensky, or whatever his name is in Ukraine, is a very corrupt man. Okay, he's going to keep this going on. The way the Russians can win this war is what they got to do is pay, like, I don't know, $1 billion to Zelensky so he will move to France. Okay. Just pay him to leave the country. That's the way you get him. He's for sale. Obviously, Biden went over there and said, stop this prosecution or we're not going to give you $1 billion. Okay, so I'll read the countries off again, and I would really like some information. I'll put the telephone number on the screen and my email address. But I'm thinking about doing a GoFundMe page. In Afghanistan, let's see, Afghanistan, DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, Iraq, number 3, Libya, number 4, Nigeria, number 5, Somalia, number 6, South Sudan, number 7, 8, number Syria, number 9, Ukraine, which I keep writing them to see if I could go there right now. They keep acting like I shouldn't go there. I think it's a great time. There wouldn't be any Russian tourists. I could go to Odessa and have a great beach life this summer. Yemen. Russia would be a great one for me to go. Of course, I've already talked about going to Israel, and I have a GoFundMe page on that. Please send me to Israel. I'm an adult, okay? I'm not a journalist trying to be famous. I'm a guy that wants to find out what the real situation is. When I was going to Iraq, I remember in 2003, I was thinking I almost canceled. And this guy writes me and says, Andy, we need somebody to witness this. And that's what we need. We need these independent journalists that are not paid or they're not controlled by any form of advertising. NPR is absolutely a woke wimp. I don't even know what to say about NPR. It's embarrassing. These nonprofit things are the last thing. All they do is they make everybody a victim. See, the wimps and the victims are controlling the planet. And we're making a world that no longer wants to go conquer the planet. You know, when President Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, made a speech, a Democrat, he said, why are we going to the moon? And he said something like, it's because we can. Why do I go to these countries? Because I can. Because it's a highway to the danger zone. And the closer you are to death, the more alive you are. And some of you are walking around half dead. And some of you would like to, if nothing else, share with me in the energy of doing it. And this is one of the great things that I can do. See, the technology is finally here. I thought about it like 15 years ago. Like turn on a live camera and whatever. I did it the other day with Cliff. I just turned on my WhatsApp and I walked around the village and I showed him the village. And, you know, I could kind of, you know, in a way, it'd be really nice if you had like 15 people watching the video at the same time on WhatsApp or whatever. And you went live somehow, and people would sit there and do it. The bad part is you got so many trolls on YouTube. You can't even leave the comments on, right? They're like the trolls. They're the definite people without a life are the comments on YouTube. Okay, I don't know. I'm now getting these comments on my Rumble channel, which is kind of a mirror of this thing. It's called Andy Graham, Henry David Thoreau, Henry David Travel, because it's Andy Lee Graham, PhD. Okay, because I got a PhD in travel, but it's called Henry David Thoreau is one of my heroes because he was an individual. The more I study him, the more I read his book, Walden, the more I know that he was a man without a connection to anybody. He was able to be himself. Why should we be in such desperate haste to succeed in such desperate enterprise? Why are you in such a desperate haste to be a wage slave and not have a life? Okay, why can't you live? I need a mission. I'm sitting in Saigon. I'm sitting in, sitting in Bangkok in a hotel. I'm laying in a bed. I'm rolling over thinking, where can I get the rush? When he's sitting there, what he's doing is he needs the juice. He needs the rush. When you're in Apocalypse Now, he's sitting in bed, and I sit there and I go, I need the rush. Help me get the rush, guys. But it's also a sharing thing. I really enjoy it most when I share it with other people because I think the reason why I do most of this GoFundMe stuff is because it's a way to share the juice. Share the rush. Not everybody's going to, I don't want everybody to go to Iraq. I don't want everybody to go to, Ukraine, I don't know. But Yemen, tough places, right? Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. I've been living anywhere I want to, any world I want to for 26 years. And I've been to 114 countries. I'm uniquely qualified to report on you the top 10 possibly dangerous countries on the planet. Okay, I'm here and you're not. Why not? Life is good, guys. And if you're going to be a philosopher, be one that's a good example. Mentally, emotionally, physically. Be a physically good example. It's a balance, guys. Mentally, emotionally, physically. I have on the back of my wall, I got the emotion. What do I call this? My goal worksheet. It's got like 10 categories. A person that's only smart and book read is not a smart person. Okay. Andy Lee Graham. I'm here. Hit that subscribe button. Become a Patreon if you want. Help support a man with a mission.